It's the 27th of December. Had a couple of days at home over Christmas. Not doing a great deal. Feeling a little bit sort of bored and sluggish now, so I've got myself out of the house just to come up, and I'm not doing anything groundbreaking really. I'm just doing a bit more sort of clearing of the rough stuff that's left in the greenhouse, and just having a little bit of time up here, just a bit of a change of scenery from being at home. It's done nothing but rain and be really grim as the weather, so it's not been worth getting out and really going anywhere particularly. So it's just quite nice to get up here and, like I say, have a little bit of a change of scenery, a bit of fresh air, and just do a few little easy straightforward jobs that are well overdue, and just to get me a little bit further ahead. I thought I'd show you my little garden haul that I got as well for Christmas. So first one was, I must say, expected, because I had asked Santa for this. Most bougiest garden tool going at the moment. Hurry. So really excited about that, because there's been so many times that I felt like I could have made use of one of these in the last few months, especially with chopping up a lot of things to put in the compost heap and that kind of thing. I mean, just so great for that, just chopping things up on the edge of the heap that I've made over there, and breaking down some big stuff that's really difficult to use the secateurs on. Opening compost bags, using it as a trowel. It is just literally a proper full-on, like, Swiss Army knife of gardening, proper multi-tool. So I'm gonna put that to good use and start getting used to it, and I think this is going to be a bit of a gardening staple for me over the next year. It's got a little bit of a cover for it as well, because of course you don't want to be falling on that, stabbing yourself on that, so I can put it on my belt and then it'll always be close to hand. So yeah, really useful. I think that's going to prove to be a nice bit of a does-all, probably make a lot of other tools redundant. The other one that's a little bit more unusual, I must say, I'd never seen one of these before, and I'm reliably told that it's called a homie. For starters, it says it on it, but one of my pals on the Potty Mouth Gardening Club, they've got one as well. And so he's actually done a video on all the uses that this tool's got. It's a South Korean tool, and again, it's a bit of a interesting multi-tool. I'll link his video below. The channel's Beans, Brews and Bread, and he's got loads of really good videos about all sorts of stuff. But yeah, he has done one specifically on this tool, and I watched it and thought, actually, I think, yeah, that's probably going to be another one that's really useful for so many different jobs. But yeah, a really lethal looking point on the end of that, but great for scratching out weeds, using as a little bit of a plough, a little bit of a hand hoe, that kind of thing. So I'm going to have quite a lot of fun putting this to use and just seeing how useful it is for me. Put that back on there straight away, try and get into good habits. So yeah, just got a few little bits to chuck in the compost heap, again, like usual, and just do a bit of clearing out in here just while it's raining and it's horrible, and don't really want to be slipping around on the sheets and the mud outside. So yeah, I'm just gonna, I think, hole up in the greenhouse and just get a little bit of clearing done. All of these are gonna have to go. I was meant to overwinter, or try and overwinter some of these, but then we had that really crazy cold snap. I think there were one morning I came down here to have a little bit of a look around, and it was about -7.5 degrees, so I don't know what it must have been outside. And I don't actually know what the maximum low temperature it got to in here or outside, because I don't have a fancy thermostat. I've just got one that you look at in real time, and, you know, a bit of an analogue sort of one, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know the maximums, but these plants are saying that it were cold. And yeah, I don't think I've any chance of saving any of these now. I mean, look at them, looking very kindling like. So all of those are going to go, and it'll be a fresh start for the new year. So, still got good intentions to tidy that up at the end there, that's all under the bench, because I do want to clear this off and get it shifted to the side so I can at some point get everything cleaned down in here and get all the glass done at some point. But it's amazing how much more light there seems to be just for the fact that I've shifted those chilies out of the way. And what I've been doing is all the bits of stems and whatnot there, they're going to go in the compost heap, but all of the saved soil from there I'm just putting in an old bag, and then I think I'll refresh that for next year and use that for the potato buckets perhaps, or at least one of them. We're just under the bench. I don't know whether you'd have seen because I spread it up, but any bits of chunky sticks from the chilies and from all kinds of things really. I mean, there's some brassica stems there from earlier in the year. You know what they're like, they're a nightmare, aren't they, to try and bust up. Anyway, now I've got my horry, I might have a bit more chance, but what we're doing with those is just chucking them under here, letting them dry out, putting them in my little bucket, and this can all be used in the fire pit at some point. And some of these like little sticks, when they get dried out, not with that bit on there, I won't save that little clip thingy, those can be used for kindling really, you know, to get it going. So yeah, they've just been sat in there because they've been drying out lovely obviously over that hot summer that we've just had. And found myself a little tiny bag of vermiculite. Now it's like, this is the vermiculite dust. Yesterday, Boxing Day, Potty Mouth Gardening Club, you might well have been there, 11 o'clock in the morning, we're all doing a little bit of a joint onion sowing, because it's traditional to sow some onions on a Boxing Day, and we're chatting about vermiculite, and I mentioned that I got given loads of really chunky vermiculite, and I mean really chunky. If I can find some, I think there's some in a bucket in the shed, so if I can find it I'll sort of show you in a bit what that looks like. And it was too chunky. To be fair, I think we could probably get in a better position to have this conversation, couldn't we? Hang on. What's she doing, honestly? I've been squatting under the bench. Yeah, so, yeah, that free vermiculite that I got given, which were, I mean, were great. You can't look a gift horse in the mouth, can you? But it were too chunky to use for, like, your little plants, your little seedlings and whatnot. So the way I dealt with it is I put it through the blender at home. Very dusty job. It wasn't brilliantly efficient. I mean, some of it ended up the right kind of size, but a lot of it sort of turned to dust, and that's what this bag is here. But I mean, I can sort of mix some of this in with some of the little seedlings. I mean, I certainly won't be chucking it out. It can go somewhere. But it was mentioned on the club that if it's anything other than the horticultural that's got a little bit of dust on it, it can be pretty slimy when it gets wet, can any of the vermiculite dust, and it's true, I can vouch for that. But I will try and filter that into something and just get it used up now I've found it. Yeah, so I'll get these sticks and bits of stuff from the chilies chucked in the compost heap, and I'll get back in here and carry on tidying up under here, because I think it's a bit of a pain in the bum of a job, but I'm going to appreciate it when it's done. isn't it? I've just got to that point where I'm kind of just moving things around because stuff doesn't really have a particular home now. So I'm just having a little bit of a ponder of what to do next. Door shut. A bit less noisy then. So, quite a lot of progress today on this. I'm really pleased, I must admit. So I've got all my little shelf tidied off. And I've got my little bathroom hanging thingy there with me labels, and I use these, the old seed catalogues if they're not too shiny paper, and a little spice tub. And I kind of fold them in half almost, and wrap them around that and fold the bottom in and make one of those like little paper pots for some of the seedlings, and that works quite well. So all of these are here ready for me now. My little bag of fine vermiculite and just a few little bits and bobs there. All that shelf just for the moment's got all the sorted pots and trays and bits and bobs that I had for that. For now, I'm going to put those gloves back in the shed to dry. I've just put my little bit of fleece that was on the rose geraniums round my 2-year-old lemon drop chilli. I mean, I think he's completely done for, to be fair. I'm really not holding out any hope whatsoever for this. But I just thought I'll leave him in his pot and just tuck that round and just see. We'll just see if anything comes of that next year. I really don't think anything will at all. I think he's completely had it, which is a bit of a shame. But never mind, I've got plenty of new varieties to start for next year, so they're quite difficult, I think, to overwinter anyway, to be fair, so I'm not that fussed really. Just a few more big pots and big trays there, and then I've got the tub of bubble wrap. I still need to find the big sheets and maybe get them put up in here. I mean, the damage has been done, I think, to be fair. With that last freeze that we had, so but you never know, if I come across it and get it all cleaned down, I may well put it up, you never know. I've just got my fire lighting bucket with a few more little bits to start drying in there, and my little bucket of sand that I like using in the seed compost and just for top dressing the little seed trays with. Little watering station. I've got a couple of spare big bottles there that I can fill up, and I can leave in here just to get up to a bit of a slightly warmer temperature, just for when I'm actually watering seedlings when spring comes round. My little lettuces back up there just for now. I did have some alpines that were kicking about on the floor. Bought them in August and then didn't end up managing to put them anywhere, so they're just kind of sitting looking a little bit sad there for the time being, but they're okay. And my little tray of spring onions my trial brassicas. That was saved seed from some chard that grew in the garden last year, and let it go to seed, and it took forever for it to finish flowering and then for the seeds to look ripe enough to collect. But this was just a viability test that I did sort of, I think it was end of the first week in November, and it just goes to show, because now we're right at the end of December, and these have just sat there, just, I mean, they've gone just a tiny little bit leggy, but because it's so cold, they're hardly wanting to grow at all, which they know, so they're only going to go so leggy, to be fair. But I mean, they were never to really grow on, they were just a bit of a trial, but I mean, I might as well leave them here and just see. Couple of little experimental winter sowings of tomatoes there, nothing's showing in those yet. I mean, they might not, if they germinate and we get it really cold again, they're probably going to die and that'll be it. But that was just a little winter sowing test with that, because I mean, you always find them cropping up after they've overwintered in your compost heap, and now I know compost heaps are more insulated than these little tubs, but these were just 2 tomatoes. There's a lucid gem in there and a little squidgy Roma, and they were just ones that were a little bit sort of manky at the end of the year, so I've literally pushed the whole tomato in there, just because that's what happens in your compost heap, just to sort of simulate that and just see if when spring hits, if anything happens with those. So it'll be fun to see. I mean, nothing might happen at all, because I've not heard of anybody else winter sowing tomatoes apart from by accident, but we'll see. And these little guys, I mean, they're looking a little bit limp, aren't they? Because I mean, Tatsoy's doing really well. This one he is doing especially well, because that's under a drip from the roof. So now it might just be happenstance, but it could be why that one's doing a lot better than the other ones, to be fair. But I have given them just a little bit of water today, because they were looking just a touch dry. I mean, they don't need so much, but they have had a little bit. And then we've got the little tub there, and my carrots that we had for Christmas, just the few little small ones I just left in here. They had a little bit of water a couple of days ago, but I've just left the really diddy ones just to see if they then grow on at all and get any bigger. I mean, they might not, it don't really matter now. We've had his Christmas ones. But yeah, so, oh, he's alright. I missed him the other day. He's a nice little one. Yeah, but some of them are quite tidgy, like that guy. He's popping out himself. He needs covering back up. Go on there. Like he's trying to escape as well. Anyway, there we go. Yeah. So a few sticks just in that bucket down there as well, just a few little bits of stuff that I found kicking about, some bits of glazing bars and raspberry canes and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really chuffed with this. I'll take the tinsel down another day, it's still Christmas, isn't it? So yeah, that feels like a nice big jump forward, to be honest. And it feels a lot fresher. I've had the window open a bit under there and the door as well, just to freshen it up a touch, get rid of a bit of, you know, a change of air, change the humidity and all the rest of it. But yeah, not far off getting ready for seeds. So, well, we are time-wise, but as far as this goes, I only really need to give it a little bit of a shifty around, give it a bit of a clean, maybe bubble wrap it if I can find it, if I can be bothered, if time don't get away with me again. And then we're ready for the new season in here, I suppose. Not bad. Yeah, really chuffed with that. I think it looks good. Looks a lot smarter now. I did put a few little bulbs in as well, just around the bottom of the apple tree. I put in the little white narcissus and I put in the purple crocus. So we'll see. I mean, it's a little bit late on for those and they were starting to sprout, but anyway, if they come, they come. I'm going to take my loppers home as well, because I've got an apple tree at home that's ready for a pruning. Unfortunately, last year its main leader snapped and it was still getting water up it because it still had leaves and apples on it, and I just temporarily tied it up to the fence just to support it a little bit, but that one's chopping back now. I've picked up a few little sad seedlings that were still sat outside in trays, and you know, a few little bits and bobs that were kicking about like that, and I've trimmed back the leaves on the purple sprouting broccoli because some of those were looking really squishy after all that frost as well. So that's all kind of tidied up. So it's all nice. It's all little jobs just pushing forward, and you know, a little bit of housekeeping and that kind of thing. I'm trying to think what other jobs are coming up next, to be fair. I was threatening to make a little bed over where the raspberries are just stood in some pots. That's a nice job that I do kind of want to get on. I want to have that bed ready for growing in next year, but I'm going to have to probably go and pick up some more manure because I'm running out of stuff really to put in these beds. Well, that's until the compost heaps get emptied out, because I think the big one's got some really good stuff in it, but that's another fairly reasonable sized job to do on another day, is that is get the front back off that and keep emptying that out again. I've still got 3 rows at the front under the plastic sheeting to mulch, but that's not a bad job. That's quite a nice quick job when I get to it. Not quite sure when I'll be coming up next. I don't really know what's going on tomorrow and what the weather's doing and all the rest of it, but I mean, I may even get up tomorrow, I don't know. Saves doing housework. And I got to try out my little hori as well, just in putting those bulbs in. I'm not totally sure if it were actually easier than just using the bulb planter that I've got. I mean, it made a smaller hole, but it were a little bit awkward because the soil's so wet and so sticky, and it's clay soil. It were quite difficult to hack into and get a decent kind of little plug taken out for them. But anyway, they're in now and I've given it a go. But yeah, looking dead good. Yeah, a lot nicer. It feels a lot calmer, weirdly. It's always the way, isn't it, when you have a tidy up, you suddenly feel a lot more at ease and maybe a little bit more in control, I suppose. So yeah, good. Yep, feel positive about that, really happy. And I'll see what I get done when I come up next time. I mean, it might be tomorrow, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on, but I mean, the weather's been terrible. We've just had all over Christmas. It's just rained and rained and rained, and it's rained quite hard. It's been quite aggressive rain as well, so not ideal weather to be getting out and doing much in the way of gardening, and it is quite slippy, you know, when you're walking about on the plastic sheets and the grass and that kind of thing. It can be a little bit treacherous. You have to be a bit careful, so I've been trying to keep on the safer bits. So yeah, I'm going to get all locked up and get all my stuff together and get off home now. So thank you for watching, and I might see you on the next one. Any bits of chunk sticks from the remoking? Windy.